Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, and the mermaids of the zodiac, to your December 2018 report. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. That's right, Pisces. You all are the mermaids. Kind of makes sense, right? What other mythological creature could you guys be, though? I mean, I guess there are a few other things that you could be. But mermaid was just the person that came to mind. Kind of the obvious one that came to mind. Anyways, this is your December 2018 report. So we're going to dive into a bit of the astrology and into the cards to see what is in store for you this powerful month of December. The card that I drew for you for the out of my zodiac oracle, which is going to tell me what astrological transits focus on, is the suit of air. We had the suit of air, so this is dealing, of course, with communication, dealing, of course, with people, communication, and the mind. And as far as like energy in air this month, we don't have a lot. We really don't. We don't have any energy in Aquarius besides the moon that'll transit it. We won't have any energy in Gemini besides the moon whenever it transits it. And we're not really going to have any energy in Libra. We do have Venus here right now, but Venus will be going in to Scorpio very soon. So this is telling me that I really should focus on air, like planets. So what do we have? We have Uranus right now, which is in Aries, which is going to be at the tail end of Aries. In fact, I think at the moment I'm recording this, December 1st. Let me just take a look at this right now. It's in a tight opposition with Venus. So you have two air planets that are in a tight opposition. One, of course, is in its home sign, and the Uranus, which is in Aries, coming out of Taurus just recently over the past several months. And you know, Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus, so it preferred to be in Scorpio, if anything. Which is kind of funny because Venus is about to head in Scorpio, and Venus doesn't like to be in Scorpio. I'd rather be where Uranus is, if anything. So there's this interesting opposition energy where both Uranus, which is the planet of, you think about it, it's the internet, innovation, it's talking about the future, it's talking about innovation, it's talking about this rebellion energy, this unique energy, like really expressing the uniqueness of who we are, especially when it's in Aries, making this opposition to Venus right now, which is in its home sign of Libra, right at the tail end. So this is like a lot of you right now can definitely be going over just really different decisions that you're going to take based off your relationships. And a lot of you are going to kind of make like this final call based off your relationships. Because you know Venus is still in its shadow period. It retrograded at 10 degrees of Scorpio, so it still has some time before it comes out of that retrograde zone, the shadow zone where it was. So we're still kind of going through this review period of our relationships and what they mean even on a deeper level when it goes into Scorpio. But when Venus comes into Scorpio, you're going to be dealing more with trust issues. It's like you would have made your decision by the time that Venus comes into Scorpio about who you can open up to, what situations, what experiences, what people, what groups you can open up to, and the groups and the situations, experiences that you want to move forward with into the future. And then when Venus comes into Scorpio, we're still having to go through a review period, but you're having to kind of review why you might have distrusted a certain group of people or different situations or different conversations, why you had distrust for them in the first place, and what you can do to change the narrative. Because I really feel like this, especially for you, is going to be a month of mental alchemy. We also have the Hangman here as one of your cards. And I want to say Scorpio got this card as well. So, and I wonder how, well, did Cancer get this card too? Because I've already done pretty much all the water signs. It's interesting how I've gotten all the water signs done first. And I think it's also because we're going to have this water trine between Chiron, the North Node, which is now in Cancer, and Mercury retrograde, which is another planet ruled by air, the planet of the mind and communication, coming back as Scorpio. And actually on, I think it's going to be the 4th, we're actually going to have the planet of communication in Scorpio making a trine over to Chiron, which is in your sign, which you are probably going to feel that transit the most this month out of most of the air transits. That's the one that you're going to feel the most, because we're having to go, like I said, retrograde is like this review period, this time where we actually have a chance to kind of see where things have come to, see how things have manifested, and we can make cuts and revisions where we need to. So with this planet of communication being in the underworld, being in Scorpio, this is talking about these deeper trust issues that we have. These are talking about these deeper desires. So you're going to be opening up conversations with people and with these deeper desires that you have. Like, do I really want to do that? Is that really good for me? And with this trine to Chiron, there's definitely going to be this element of you kind of going into waters where you felt like you might have been stung by a jellyfish, or you might have been attacked by a shark, mentally, or you might be projecting that out, right? Or you might be afraid that you're going to get attacked by a shark. You might be afraid that you got stung by a jellyfish. But Pisces, you're a mermaid, so if anything, you can control them. You can talk to the sharks, you talk to the jellyfish, and if anything, if you really alter your perception on this, you can dance with them, right? It can be like, I'm just staring under the sea in The Little Mermaid, right? Under the sea, like that's really how it should be, Pisces. That's really how it should be. It should be super beautiful and magical, especially since the greater part of December, the sun's going to be in Sagittarius, which, yes, squares your energy. And yes, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, but you are co-ruled by Jupiter as well. So this square for you, it's not a bad square. It's not a bad square. If anything, you may get a little jealous at Sagittarius simply because they have the power right now, and you guys go back and forth on who's the most magical sign. But don't be afraid to open up conversations. Don't be afraid to trust yourself and to have a deeper trusting nature, because if you do, and it's coming from a pure place, because Scorpio in many ways does rule purity as well, you will actually gain great healing as a result of it. You will no longer be afraid to take up that challenge. You will no longer be afraid to go into those waters, to go into those depths. I'm seeing right now, I'm feeling that scene in Finding Nemo when they were in like the reef, and then they went out, and then it was just open water. It was like a cliff. It's like some of you all are kind of just sitting at the cliff, and you're wanting to swim out there and touch the butt. But your friends are like, no, don't do it, don't do that. Or there's like all this, there could be all this talk and all this chatter. That's another thing with Mercury. You could be listening to what a lot of other people are saying, of to do this or don't do that. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you're not good enough to do that. And then you might be internalizing it and thinking that it's yourself. You may think that it's yourself telling yourself that you are not worthy of this magic. But you are technically the most magical sign of the zodiac. It's just whether or not you get caught up in your own delusions. That's the only thing that really makes you that's the only thing that really allows Sagittarius to kind of get to your level as far as magical ability, is if you are like really, really deep into your illusions. But if there's a dream that you want to go for and you really want to manifest it, now is the time to do it, especially with this new moon coming up that's squaring your energy, which is going to give everybody a new lease on life. Very super powerful. Really open up that communication with yourself. Open up that communication that you really do believe in yourself, and that you believe that you are worthy of that dream, and believe that you are worthy of healing. There are sometimes I even feel within the spiritual community that people almost will hold on to their hurt, because it's like, it almost sort of gives them a reason to kind of, I don't know how exactly I want to say it. It's like they hold on to the hurt because it becomes comfortable for them, and they hold on to the hurt because it kind of gives them a sob story. And sometimes people may even use that to advance an agenda or something like that. You don't want to do that, Pisces. You really don't want to do that. We have the Hanged Man here, which shows a tiger, which is awesome. A tiger, a very powerful creature. I mentioned this in other videos, how in Chinese mythology, the tiger was seen as the only animal that could really rival the dragon. I would say probably the only other animal that could probably rival the dragon is probably the eagle. But there are different things there. Where the eagle, if not checked properly, has a very, very, very big ego, I would say. The tiger, if not checked correctly, can be very, very underhanded and secretive. You know, that's a weird thing. That's an interesting thing about the tiger. So there can be this energy where you do feel like you're kind of just hanging there. You know, you might feel like a fish on a hook. And how applicable, because you're a Pisces, right? You may feel like a fish on a hook right now. And you may feel like whoever has you on the hook is taking you this way and taking you that way and taking you this way. And it can cause some delirium. So you probably had to detach from the delirium and just kind of be in a bit of a dream world, right? But this is about sort of like coming back in here. This is about kind of coming back into reality a bit. The tiger, totem animal of Virgo. So you're having to kind of come back into reality a bit, and you may feel like you're being jerked around, but you can stabilize it. It's all about your perception. It's all about your perception, okay? It's all about your perception. Cut the deck. We have the Ten of Wands. Someone else got the Ten of Wands. I can't remember exactly who else got the Ten of Wands. But this is speaking to, you definitely are kind of holding on to some stuff. You are carrying some type of load. I'm going to cut the deck again. We have the card of Death. Seems like you're holding on to something that is just falling away and does not work for you anymore. That's what it sounds like. With the Death card here, and especially considering this is definitely speaking of this Mercury trine Chiron, because Mercury is going to be in the sign of Death, because Death is ruled by Scorpio. So this is you killing off a thought pattern, or even you killing off a belief, because you got to think, Mercury is retrograding from Sagittarius, the sign of belief, into Scorpio. So this is actually you killing off a self-limiting belief that has actually weighed you down. You killing off a self-limiting belief that has weighed you down and has robbed you of your power. It's robbed you of the magic that you actually really could be expressing. It's almost like you're a mermaid and you're trying to talk to... It's like, what I'm seeing is like... Okay, I'm seeing right now, I'm getting this weird vision of like... Say like within a tribe of mermaid or mermen, whatever, however they call it. And in this tribe, when they have their spiritual experience or they're ready to be initiated, they have to swim away from the established, place where they live and swim off into the open water and like connect back to nature, connect back to the creatures. And what I'm seeing and feeling is someone, a mermaid who is just been really, really kind of caught up in their own delusion, and it's actually allowed them to not be able to speak with the other sea creatures there. I'm seeing like you want to speak to like the turtles and the jellyfish. You want to be able to speak to the otters, but you haven't been able to do so. You want to speak to the fish, and you haven't been able to do so because there's been so much that's been weighing down on your mind. Probably all of the opinions of other people saying that you can't do something. Or you telling yourself that you can't do it because you have this self-limiting belief that in order to be someone or get somewhere, you have to have these certain conditions met. And this kind of goes back to what I was telling Leo in the reading, where it's like, you want to love yourself unconditionally. And that's like, I believe that loving yourself unconditionally, which really authenticity stems from that. This authenticity movement stems from loving yourself unconditionally, is really what's going to be the new, I don't want to say religion, honestly, but that's going to be the new way, is loving yourself unconditionally. And what I feel like this is that in order for you to be able to communicate with the turtles, to communicate with the otters, the fish, the eels, the crabs, the dolphins, the sharks, the whales, you're going to have to love yourself unconditionally, because that's what's going to allow you to open up the communication back to those creatures, which are going to feed you great wisdom. If any of you all happen to have spirit animals that are sea creatures, connect with them this month. Connect with them, and they will actually help you to get back on track. They will help you to get back on track. I'm hearing especially dolphins and sea turtles, and even sharks. Sharks, it's interesting how a lot of times we like to brand the shark as having giant egos, because in many ways we associate them with big business people. Sharks, I wouldn't even say have big egos. I just think they have voracious appetites because they had to. Sharks have been around for a long time. They were around when the oceans were a lot more dangerous, really, so they say, right? So they had to be that way. They had to have voracious, almost unending appetites in order to survive. They had to. I don't think they have the biggest egos in the ocean, but that's just me. So there's actually a way of connecting to the shark and how to know how to channel that brutality in a positive way. So maybe some of you will also connect with sharks too. Interesting, right? We have the King of Pentacles here. It was reversed, but we have the King of Pentacles here. We have the Owl here as well. So there's definitely some type of wisdom. Really you communicating back to yourself the value. Really you, the King of Pentacles here, I'm going to draw another card just to kind of see a little bit more into this. We have the Moon card in reverse. So I feel like you really are going to kind of assume to the throne or assume this position, this higher quality of life that you feel, and this confidence when you really begin to tap into your own emotions. The Moon in reverse is saying that your intuition is a little off. It's a little off balance. And really what I'm feeling is that this new moon that's going to be squaring your energy on the 6th of the month, it's going to be really powerful for you to kind of recalibrate back to where you feel like you're supposed to be. And so you can actually really feel that self-worth and that self-confidence. The King of Pentacles doesn't have a problem with funding his projects because he's practical, he's down to earth, he gets his business done. He has no issues funding certain projects. He has no issue with it because he's got it made. And he knows his worth, he knows his value. So there's no issue there. But the issue with you, as far as manifesting, is that intuitively, you're a little off-center. You're a little off-center. And there are going to be moments throughout the day. You can't be in a 100% alignment every moment of every day. You just can't. There are moments where you have to come out of alignment. There are moments where you have to come out of that. Oh, wow, a bunch of cards just fell out. So we're going to kind of read those as a story. But there are moments where you have to come out of alignment so you can restructure and kind of realign yourself back to your truth. Because if you just get too caught up in it, you almost have to take it for granted, right? Now, these are the cards that fell out, and they kind of fell out in a group. So we have those two cards, we have this card that landed in between the two stacks, and then we have all of these. So the first two cards that we have here are the Four of Swords, and we also have the King of Wands. The Four of Swords, and we also have the King of Wands. The Four of Swords speaks to you taking some type of deep rest. I think it's interesting how both of these cards have lions in them. So there's definitely going to be some of you are definitely going to be dealing with the Leo this month. A Leo who has probably gone to sleep on you. Or maybe it's even that aspect of yourself, that Leo aspect of yourself, where you've kind of gone to sleep on yourself. Then we also have the Nine of Swords here. So it's like this person has gone to sleep on you and they've kind of almost closed off any type of window of opportunity for you to accurately express how you're feeling, which is probably taking you out of the zone because you are naturally a very sensitive sign. It's probably even robbed you of some of your magic. So whoever this individual is, you kind of want to just like, you kind of really just want to kind of brush it aside, honestly. Whatever this person is saying, you kind of want to just brush it aside. You don't really want to take to heart what this individual is saying. And this could be a person outside of you. This could be one of your inner voices. And you're going to have to learn to kind of just scoot that to the side and be like, no, I want to embrace another way. And let's look at the cards that we have here. We have the Two of Swords. We have Temperance in reverse. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. We have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So since most of the cards were reversed, what this is telling me is that the moment that this stalemate ends, the rest of the story is going to begin. So let's see how the story is going to unfold when you release this stalemate and you kind of release this self-limiting belief that you've been carrying with you since you're becoming more aware of it, and it's been mostly coming up subconsciously because it's retrograde. Mercury is retrograde, but the self-limiting belief that you have had or that you have adopted, you're becoming more aware of it. So let's see how this is going to, play out once you release the self-limiting belief, once you release the stalemate, okay? Let's see how this works. Temperance. So alchemy. You're going to really, this is about you having mental alchemy, telling yourself that you are worthy, that you are beautiful. One thing that I've been doing lately is I've been telling myself, and I have a Pisces moon, so this is applicable to me, is my thoughts are pure. My thoughts are beautiful. My thoughts are sacred. My thoughts are compassionate. My thoughts are self-affirming. My thoughts are loving. I've been saying things like this to myself, and I have actually noticed the effects of it. So temperance, okay? After temperance, what comes? We have the Queen of Cups. So deeper understanding. This is a Scorpio energy. Deeper emotional understanding and deeper compassion. This person, this King of Wands figure, like I said, was probably going to be a Leo, or this aspect that's kind of gone to sleep on you. This can even be the King of Wands, that kingly, passionate energy within you, where you've kind of maybe brought something toward. What I'm seeing is this person walking into the court and is like, King, I have a great idea for a project, and you tell the king for the project, and the king's dismissive about it and kind of pushes you out to the side, and that's caused you to have lower self-esteem. Like I said, this could be a person, this could be a boss, this definitely could be a boss, or this could be, like I said, just an aspect of yourself. But you need to, and yes, the king has authority, but the king does not have ultimate authority over your spirit and over your soul. The king does not have ultimate authority on what you do with your gifts, Pisces. You still can go out there and be you. Because if it was true that the king had the ultimate authority, stuff like that, we wouldn't have people that have come out of the woodworks, that have crawled out of the mud to present incredible things to this world, and then they get the recognition. It's like, just because someone may have like an authority, say, I think the perfect example is J.K. Rowling, right? How she got denied from so many different book sources, whatever like that, or publishers. But now look at her. She's like the first author billionaire, So there can be people that might have been denying you and denying you and denying you. They're not the authority of your success. You are. You are the authority of your success. So there's going to be, like I said, there's this deeper compassion that's going to come up, an emotional revival. We have the Four of Wands, which means that you are definitely going to be, what I'm seeing is that you're going to be marrying a decision that you're going to make. There's Two of Pentacles, which speaks to putting one step in front of the other. And then we have the Ace of Wands, which means that you're going to get your power back. So it's like, despite what the king said, you're going to go for it anyways, Pisces, right? It's almost like what I'm even feeling, going back to that earlier allegory about being in a civilization of mermaid and you're going through like a spiritual retreat, whatever like that, or you go off into the woods to connect to nature, or I guess not in the woods, you go off into the seaweed forest, I guess, say there's like a seaweed forest, and you go off into the seaweed forest to connect back to nature, to connect back to Gaia, or connect back to Neptune, or whatever like that, right? And there could have been like a king who would have been like, oh, such and so, he never really showed much promise, whatever like that, he's probably just a shark will probably get him when he goes out there, right? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. But you're going to go out there, and it's like your soul's going to marry itself. It's going to be like you really are going to feel married and connected on like a serious level, the true definition of married, which has Mar in it, which means ocean, means the sea. So you really are going to feel more connected to yourself. You're really going to feel more connected to that magic. You're going to be feeling more connected to that source. As a result of it, it's going to be like you're going to be juggling. You're going to be juggling. It's going to just be like bam, bam, bam. And you're just going to be like magic here, magic there, magic here, magic there. And then you have this Ace of Wands. You're going to be like waving your wand, and it's just going to be like bam. Once you really drop this self-limiting belief and you kill it, but I would say give thanks for it, because while it was here, it did serve you good. It did serve a purpose. All beliefs serve purpose. All beliefs serve some type of good. what happens is that sometimes we hold on to beliefs for such a long time. It causes us to spiral into a bit of a delusion, and then the farther and farther we go into that delusion, the harder and harder it is to kill that delusion if it's actually becoming more of a detriment. So what I'm feeling is that with Pisces, there is some type of belief that you've been having, that you have been telling yourself, and it's really, really deep within you, and it's like this. It's sort of like this surgery that you're having to go through, and it's like a really deep. Like we have to really dive deep and kind of pull out. You have to pull out this disease of the mind. You have to really go in and pull it out. But once you pull it out, you're going to feel so much lighter. You're going to feel so much better, so much more fluid. You're going to feel like you can dance again, and you really are going to be feeling the magic. And then when you come back, and the previously dismissive king will be like, oh, I should have never doubted you. And you should be like, damn right you shouldn't have. But really, it's going to be more like, I should never have doubted myself. I never should have doubted myself. That is it for your reading, Pisces. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to astrofenixx.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, the mermaids of the zodiac and fellow radiators of love. Always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often. Ha!